I'm often asked how it's possible to stay calm when financial markets seem to be going haywire and the global economy is reeling under the weight of uncertainty. The answer lies not in complex mathematical formulas or high-speed algorithms, but in character and the ability to simplify problems to their most basic essence. If I woke up tomorrow in 2026 and discovered that all my wealth had vanished, leaving my bank account at zero, I wouldn't dwell on my losses. I've lived long enough to know that wealth isn't a state of being, but the result of a logical and repeatable process that anyone can initiate with the necessary discipline. Most people fail financially not because of a lack of intelligence, but because they're programmed to seek instant gratification in a world that rewards long-term patience. Starting 2026 with $0 is actually a magnificent opportunity to purge all those bad habits that have kept you stuck for years. It's time to stop acting like an impulsive consumer and start thinking like an architect of your own financial freedom, building from the ground up. It doesn't matter how old you are or what your current situation is. What matters is whether you're willing to follow a rational plan with the same determination a captain uses to navigate a storm. My first step in January of that year would be to conduct a brutally honest audit of my own spending and every single expense, no matter how small it might seem on a daily basis. Money slips through the fingers of the reckless through 1,000 tiny cracks they themselves have created for convenience or a desire for social status. I would immediately cut any spending that wasn't essential to maintaining my ability to work and efficiently produce value for others. This isn't about living in poverty, but about living with a clear purpose, to stop the financial bleeding so that every dollar saved becomes a seed of capital. I would sell any debt-ridden assets, like a car with high monthly payments, and replace it with the cheapest, most functional option available on the used market. People spend fortunes projecting an image of success they don't possess, sacrificing their future for a moment of external validation that has no real value. In January, my sole objective would be to maximize the gap between my income and expenses, creating my first cash surplus in months or even years. This initial austerity is the price to pay for future freedom, and it's a deal any rational person would accept without hesitation. During February and March, my focus shifted entirely to aggressively generating income, working harder than most would consider reasonable or even possible. I wouldn't waste time searching for the perfect job or my passion. I would pursue any legal activity that paid the most money for each hour of my effort. In the early stages of financial rebuilding, capital is king, and hard work is the only honest way to accumulate it when starting from absolutely nothing. I would work 2 or 3 different jobs if necessary, sacrificing leisure and unnecessary rest for the goal of accumulating my first $5,000. This initial accumulation phase is the most difficult because it requires an iron will to ignore fatigue and the criticism of those who prefer comfortable mediocrity. But there is something profoundly transformative about seeing your savings grow thanks to your own sweat and your refusal to surrender to the challenges of the journey. Those first $5,000 aren't just money, they are tangible proof that you have regained control of your life and that you are no longer a leaf tossed by the wind. With that capital in hand, the mindset of despair begins to dissipate, making room for more strategic and calm thinking. From April to June, I would dedicate every penny saved to building what I call the wall of security, a $10,000 cash reserve that no one can touch. This wall isn't for investing, it isn't for buying bargains, and it certainly isn't for luxuries. It's to ensure that I never again have to make a decision based on fear. Fear is the enemy of rationality, and nothing dispels fear more than knowing that you have months of living expenses paid no matter what happens in the outside world. Having this emergency fund allows you to negotiate from a position of strength, whether with an employer, a client, or life itself. Many so-called financial experts will tell you that holding so much cash is a mistake because of inflation, but they don't understand the psychology of someone who's been broke. The real value of those $10,000 isn't the interest they earn in the bank, but the peace of mind they give you to think long-term without anxiety. By June, if you've maintained your discipline, you'll have gone from being broke to having a total of $15,000, putting you ahead of the vast majority of the population. You've built the foundation of your strength, and now the game of wealth really starts to get interesting and rewarding. In July and August, the time would come to make the most important investment of all, investing in my own skills and my ability to generate value. I would use a portion of my remaining savings to acquire technical knowledge or tools that would allow me to charge double or triple for my work time. The market doesn't pay for your effort. It pays for how difficult you are to replace, and specialized education is the fastest way to become irreplaceable. Whether learning a new technology, obtaining a commercial license, or mastering a complex art, my goal would be to permanently increase my market value. I wouldn't invest in stocks or other people's businesses just yet because my priority remains increasing the cash flow that I can directly and independently control. By investing in yourself, you're buying an asset that inflation can't destroy and that no government can confiscate through taxes or decrees. By the end of August, my earning capacity should have taken a significant leap forward, allowing me to save more money with less physical effort than at the beginning of the year. This is the magic of applied productivity, working smarter after you've proven you can work harder than anyone else. September and October would be the months to establish my first source of passive income, using the surplus from my new and improved monthly cash flow. I would look for boring but reliable assets, such as shares of large-cap companies with an impeccable track record of paying dividends over the decades. I'm not looking for the next big tech project or the latest cryptocurrency. I'm looking for companies that sell things people will always need, like energy or food. Every dividend I received, no matter how small, would be a moral victory, confirming that the system of compound interest has begun to work in my favor. I would also consider acquiring income-generating physical assets, such as a small property or a stake in a local business I thoroughly understand. The key at this stage is to keep things simple. If I can't explain how an asset makes money in 3 simple sentences, I won't buy it under any circumstances. Simplicity is the ultimate in investing sophistication, and avoiding unnecessary complexity will save you from most common market scams and mistakes. By October, I would not only have my safety net in place, but I would also have small streams of money flowing into my account without requiring my daily physical presence. November is the month of heightened vigilance because it's when the rest of the world tries to convince you to spend your savings on celebrations and empty consumerism. It's the time when the social pressure to fit in and to be generous with money you still need for your freedom becomes almost unbearable for many. I would maintain my austere lifestyle, remembering that true generosity comes from genuine abundance, not from debt or sacrifice. It would be the month to reaffirm my vows of discipline, and watching as others fall back into the scarcity trap while I prepare for the final leap. December wouldn't be a month of rest, but rather a month of strategic planning for year 2, which is when exponential growth truly begins to show its strength. I would review my numbers, analyze what new skills I need to acquire, and decide where to allocate my growing capital to maximize return and minimize risk. In 12 months, I will have gone from having $0 to having a solid financial foundation, an investor mindset, and a diversified income stream. What began as a survival exercise has become a wealth-building machine that no longer depends on luck, but on method. The reason this plan works is because it's based on the immutable laws of arithmetic and a deep understanding of the psychology of human behavior. Financial success isn't a locked-away mystery. It's the result of consistently doing a handful of the right things and avoiding hundreds of stupid ones. Most people will look for the shortcut, the risky gamble, or the magic bullet. And that's why most people will continue to struggle with money their entire lives. If you follow this path, I guarantee that by December 2026, you'll be in a position that today seems like an impossible dream. Starting from scratch forces you to develop a humility and resilience far more valuable than any inheritance or unexpected stroke of luck. You learn to value every resource, to distrust appearances, and to rely solely on hard facts and well-structured logical reasoning. This strength of character is what will allow you not only to achieve wealth, but also to preserve and increase it through the inevitable crises that will come. Don't fear the difficult beginning, for it is in the struggle to climb out of the abyss that the best investors and the wisest people on earth are forged. The discipline of spending less than you earn is so simple it seems silly, but it's the foundation upon which all great fortunes have been built. If you can't control your spending impulses today, you'll never be able to control market forces tomorrow, because both require the same mental self-control. Your bank account is a reflection of your past decisions, and from this starting point, your decisions will be aligned with economic reality, not fantasy. Don't let the noise of the world distract you from the fundamental task of protecting your future through the rational accumulation of productive assets. As the year progresses, you'll notice people beginning to notice your change, not because of what you say, but because of the calm with which you face challenges. This serenity comes from knowing you have a system that works and that you don't depend on chance or the benevolence of others for your well-being. Financial independence isn't about owning private jets, but about having the freedom to say no to anything that compromises your integrity. In this 2026 plan, each month is a step toward that sovereign freedom, the ultimate reward for anyone who chooses to think for themselves. Don't underestimate the power of small savings when combined with time and a reasonable, consistent rate of return over the years. What seems like an insignificant amount today will grow into a mountain of capital if you have the patience not to unnecessarily interrupt the compounding process. Warren and I built our success not by doing extraordinary things, but by doing ordinary things with remarkably persistent discipline for 8 long decades. You can do the same on your own scale, and this plan is the gateway to that world of possibilities for the rational person. When you find yourself working overtime in February, remember why you're doing it and visualize the wall of security you'll be finishing building by June. That vision will fuel you when your body craves rest and when your mind tries to convince you that a small luxury won't harm the big picture. Every temptation resisted is a victory for your future self, who will thank you for the courage to choose freedom over momentary comfort. Keep your head down, your focus high, and your numbers clear, and you'll see the world make way for the person who knows where they're going. Investing in yourself in July is what separates those who merely save from those who truly build lasting financial empires. Don't skimp on your education. Spend on books, mentors, and courses with a proven track record of delivering tangible results. Your brain is the engine of your wealth, and a well-tuned engine fueled by the right fuel will produce far more power with less effort. By September, you'll be operating at a level of efficiency your former colleagues won't even be able to comprehend from their static positions. The concept of passive income is often misunderstood as easy money, but it's actually the rent the world pays you for accumulated capital. By buying dividend-paying stocks or real estate, you're putting your past savings to work to automatically fund your future lifestyle. This is the only real way to escape the rat race, where you trade your limited time for money, something that always has a ceiling. By becoming the owner of productive assets, you remove that ceiling and allow your wealth to grow independently of your sleep. November will be your ultimate test, the moment when you will demonstrate whether you have truly integrated the principles of worldly wisdom into your character. The world is full of people who are rich in appearance but poor in assets, trapped in an endless cycle of debt to maintain facades. You will choose substance over shadow, security over ostentation, and real freedom over the gilded slavery of rampant consumerism. This decision will mark you as someone different, someone who is in control of their faculties and not swept away by emotional currents. By December, you'll sit down with your financial statements and feel a legitimate sense of pride, seeing how far you've come from the absolute zero of January. You won't just have money. You'll have something far more valuable, the certainty that you're capable of navigating life on your own terms. The plan for year 2 will no longer be one of rescue, but of expansion, leveraging the solid foundation you've painstakingly built. You will have proven that rationality is the highest-paying asset in history, and you are now a man in control of his financial destiny. Don't forget that patience is the highest form of intelligence in an environment where all incentives are designed to make you act hastily. The financial market is a mechanism for transferring money from the impatient to the patient, and you have chosen to be on the receiving end. Always maintain a cash reserve for opportunities that arise during times of crisis, for that is where legendary fortunes are made. The 2026 plan doesn't end in December. It's just the first chapter of a new success story built on unwavering principles. Every decision you make from now on must be filtered through whether it brings you closer to or further from your goals of total independence. Don't be seduced by fleeting trends or the advice of those who haven't achieved the results you aspire to. Surround yourself with like-minded people who value logic and understand that wealth is a marathon of endurance and discipline. Your environment influences your ability to stay focused, so choose carefully who you allow to influence your financial thinking. Throughout this year, you will have learned to see money not as something to spend, but as a tool to buy freedom and time. This perspective is what separates the permanently wealthy from the temporarily wealthy, who end up losing everything due to a lack of a philosophical foundation. Frugality is not a restriction. It is a liberation from the need to impress people you don't care about with money you need. Live simply so you can think complexly and act decisively when great opportunities arise. Always remember to invest in businesses that have a defensive moat, a competitive advantage that protects them from the fierce competition of the global market. The same applies to your own career. Build your own moat through extreme specialization and excellence in the service you provide. If you are the best at what you do and are also a trustworthy and rational person, the world will never stop sending you opportunities. Success is a byproduct of the value you bring to others, multiplied by the efficiency with which you manage the resources you receive. This 2026 plan requires you to be honest with yourself about your weaknesses and to build systems that protect you from your own biases. Don't rely on willpower, rely on your automated savings processes, your checklists, and your investment rules. By removing emotion from the financial equation, you allow logic to take over and make the results much more predictable. Genius lies in not being stupid for too long, and this plan is your guide to systematically avoiding financial stupidity. As you see the fruits of your labor, maintain the humility you had in January, for pride is the prelude to mistakes. Never think you've beaten the market. Think that you've learned to dance to the rhythm of its fundamental laws without letting them trample you. Respect for reality as it is, and not as you would like it to be, is the hallmark of the wise investor who endures. Keep learning, keep saving, and keep investing with the same calm and determination with which you began this long journey of transformation. 2026 can be the most difficult year of your life if you resist change, or the most rewarding if you embrace discipline. There's no middle ground in the pursuit of financial excellence. You're either building your own freedom or financing someone else's. Choose today which side of the equation you want to be on, and don't look back with regret, but forward with the confidence of a plan. I did it, others have done it, and you now have all the necessary tools to achieve it too if you're truly committed. Ultimately, wealth will empower you to become more than you already are, amplifying your strengths and giving you the means to make a difference. Use your success to foster rationality, education, and well-being in your community, becoming a beacon of wisdom amidst the confusion. True wealth is that which is shared wisely and used to improve the human condition through consistent example. May this path be the map that guides you to that destination of abundance and wisdom that awaits you at the end of your journey. Consistency is the secret ingredient that transforms an ordinary plan into an extraordinary outcome, astonishing those who only see the end result. Don't be discouraged by days of slow progress. Capitalization often feels sluggish at first, but it becomes unstoppable over time. Keep feeding the system, keep protecting your safety net, and keep investing in your own worth with the faith of a sower. The harvest of December 2026 will be just the beginning of a lifetime of prosperity that will grow year after year under your guidance. Every great fortune began with a small decision to refuse to accept financial mediocrity as an inevitable and eternal destiny. You have made that decision today by studying this plan and committing to applying it with complete rigor and absolute personal honesty. You owe no one an explanation for your new way of life. Your results will speak for themselves with an eloquence that no words can match. Be the master of your silence, the protector of your capital, and the architect of your own empire of rationality and financial well-being. Go ahead with your 2026 plan. Time will pass anyway, and it's your choice whether you'll be celebrating or simply lamenting in the end. You have the map, but it's up to you to walk the path with your own 2 feet and your own unwavering will to succeed. Let logic be your compass, patience your shield, and compound interest your tireless engine toward the mountaintop. The summit is clear for those who have the vision to look beyond the present and build their own future with a firm hand. In this process, you'll discover that true value lies not in the money you accumulate, but in the person you become in the process. The self-discipline needed to save and the curiosity required to learn new skills will transform your character in ways you can't even imagine today. You'll become more observant, more analytical, and less susceptible to being manipulated by the fear-mongering narratives that dominate the mass media. This inner strength is the most valuable dividend you'll receive from your investments, an asset that will stay with you for the rest of your life. The relationship between initial effort and final reward is often asymmetrical, with most of the work concentrated in the first few months. That's why January and February are critical. If you overcome the initial inertia of your old habits, you've won half the battle. Think of a rocket launch, which uses most of its fuel just to escape the atmosphere and overcome gravity. Once you're in financial orbit, maintaining momentum will require far less effort than it took to get started from scratch. As your capital grows, you'll be tempted to diversify too soon into things you don't understand, simply for the sake of doing something. Resist that urge and remember that some of the best investments are those you decide against after careful analysis. Intelligent inaction is a skill few investors master, preferring frantic activity that only benefits stockbrokers and the tax authorities. Stay focused on what you know inside and out, and let time do the heavy lifting of securely growing your wealth. The freedom you seek is not just financial, but mental. The ability to not worry about money allows you to focus on what truly matters. The purpose of this plan is to eliminate the static of mere survival so you can tune in to the frequency of creation and genuine contribution. A person who doesn't have to worry about their next meal or their next rent payment is a person who can change the world for the better. Use your progress to free your mind from trivial concerns and elevate your thinking toward goals that transcend your own individual existence. Observe the world through the eyes of an investor, always looking for inefficiency and opportunity where others see only chaos and collective despair. Every economic crisis is, in essence, a transfer of wealth from the uninformed to those who have prepared with patience and liquidity. By following this plan, you are positioning yourself on the right side of that transfer, ready to act when the rest of the market is paralyzed. This preparation is what separates leaders from followers in the grand theater of the global economy and human life. Don't let intermediate successes cloud your judgment or make you believe you've reached the finish line prematurely. Complacency is the poison that kills growing fortunes just as they're about to reach their full potential. Maintain the same work ethic and analytical rigor in October that you had in March, ensuring your system is foolproof. The road to wealth is paved with the remains of those who relaxed too soon and lost their hard-won momentum. Mean gratitude for your accomplishments is a powerful motivator that will keep you engaged and prevent you from succumbing to blind greed or bitterness. Appreciate the security your financial safety net provides and the freedom granted by the new technical skills you've acquired this year. This appreciation will give you the perspective needed to remain a balanced and ethical person while your net worth continues its upward trajectory. Wealth is a means to an end, and that end should always be a life lived with purpose, reason, and profound personal satisfaction. Learn to love the process of building your life as much as the final result, because it's in the day-to-day where the magic of life truly happens. Every dollar saved, every book read, and every wise decision are triumphs that deserve to be celebrated internally as milestones in your personal evolution. At the end of 2026, you'll look back not only on a fuller bank account, but on a year of unprecedented personal growth. You will have proven to yourself that destiny isn't written in the stars, but in daily actions guided by reason. Let this script be your travel companion, a constant reminder that clarity of purpose is the most powerful tool you currently possess. It doesn't matter where you begin in January 2026. What matters is where you choose to end up in December, thanks to your iron will and open mind. Wealth awaits you, not as a gift of chance, but as the just reward for your discipline, your patience, and your unwavering commitment to excellence. Take this plan, make it your own, and prepare to see your reality transform before your eyes in a permanent and glorious way. Trust the process, trust logic, and above all, trust your ability to learn and adapt to the changing circumstances of the modern world. The future belongs to those who prepare rigorously today, avoiding foolishness and embracing worldly wisdom with humility and unwavering determination. May 2026 be the year you finally break the chains of scarcity and begin your definitive ascent to the summit of your human potential. The path is laid out, the plan is precise, and the time to begin is right now, without further delay or excuses holding you back.